Welcome back to another episode of the Stock Car Podcast. Most recently, we've had a few F1 drivers, but today we're going to the V8 Hotstox. We have got the V8 Hotstock World Champion, Thomas Brighton. Yeah, there we go. Right, Thomas, I like to start the podcast talking about what I know about the guest, and I don't know much. I've seen the World Final from last year, last year now, and it looked absolutely horrendous, and obviously I see that you had won it.
Yeah.
I know you've done a bit of New Zealand racing as well, which we'll get on to. So that's basically as much as I know. And I want to get into the V8s because the V8s are actually, if me and Dad have spoke about it before, he races the mod stocks and he's been sat next to a few of the V8 ones because they've been at the same meetings, and he's like, you know what, I'd like to do this. And then my mum's like, they're too loud and they're too big. Because when one started up next to her, she's like, absolutely no way. So he's got his little mod stock at the minute. But yeah, we'll start off early racing memories. We have got your dad, Norman, here as well. What's your earliest racing memories that you remember being at the track and then moving into racing yourself then?
Funnily enough, when I was little, with the racing, it was I was never really that interested because Dad always used to take me, and I wouldn't really want to watch racing. I just used to like sit in the pram in the pits, and that's all really I used to do. And I think probably my earliest memory, we went to Coventry, and I don't remember actually any of the racing, but all I remember is everybody came back to the hotel, and it was this quite nice hotel, weren't it? And everybody had all shale on the boots, and there was this like nice mat. I can't remember what it was, but it was like the floor of the elevator was quite rough, so all the shale was in it. And the next morning we all came down, there was somebody on their hands and knees trying to scrub the shale out of this elevator floor. But no, I don't, because Dad finished racing before I was born, so there was no memories of that. Obviously I've watched videos and stuff,
photos and
yeah, that's it. It's nice to see a picture every now and again, but no.
Was your dad raced F1s?
Yeah, Dad did just F1s. Started a little bit, I don't know how long after, but after Ian started, and then Grandad also did Formula 1s as well for a stint. I think he didn't do many meetings, but he raced them as well. But no, when I was little, sort of racing was almost a bit of a punishment for me. I'd rather be at home. I was never interested, and then
it's too cold.
Literally, but it was like must have been 2017, weren't it? I started coming again, and that was the year. Was that the year Frank won the shoot? No, it was the year 28. Yeah, Frank won the shootout at Bellevue, and it was sort of like I said, I was like, quite fancy a go at racing, and that I think it was that Christmas, weren't it? It was a Stoxkart, so that's where my racing started.
At Christmas?
Yeah.
Nice present there.
Yeah.
So before that, though, your dad obviously packed up racing. He went with Ian and then Frankie. So he was always away. Or how often was you in the workshop, or are you in the workshop, even at when you was growing up?
Was it every Friday? And then it was every now and then. The thing is, later on, towards the end of when he tried to start in my racing, fading away from Frank, there was a lot more traffic and stuff. So it was like you'd only have like 2 hours in the workshop because it was like 2 hours to get there, 2 hours to get back. So you'd lose 4 hours of your day just trying to get there. So it sort of was a bit nearly pointless really in a sense. You know what I mean? But yeah.
So I always remember seeing when back in the day before, well, not before Facebook, but early days of Facebook. I always remember going on Frankie Wayman website and you were on there as part of the team. I remember seeing your face, Norman. So yeah, he was a big part of Frankie's team on the Friday nights. But then all of a sudden, you turn up at Christmas and there's a stock car there.
Yeah, no, it was, we had a quad bike and they were like, I'll get some new tyres for my quad bike, please, for Christmas. They were like, just clean the workshop floor. I was like, we're already changing some tyres. We'll clean this floor. And then obviously Stoxkart turned up. I was like, we're starting racing now. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So you started in the juniors. How old are you?
I'm only 19 now. So we started when I was 12. So
right, in the junior stock cars.
In the juniors, yeah.
Now, how did you get on there?
First year, I wasn't brilliant. I got up to red. I had second in the I Factor final at the end of the year, which was sort of the highlight of my first season. And
going to red in first year is pretty.
Pretty
good.
I had a full season, and it was quite a Birmingham heavy season. So it was obviously, and the I Factor final was at Birmingham. So it was sort of like going into it, I think I was like third row inside or something. So I was like, I might have a chance here, and got second in that. So we were quite happy with that. And then going into the next year, I managed to win the British at Aldershot. That was the first time there. I think it might have been Kart's first time there, was it? Yeah.
We've got two knowledgeable people here. We've got Ian Higgins and Norman in the background here, so we've got plenty to reference to.
Yeah.
Go on.
And that was a red hot day. I remember it was ridiculously hot. But managed to win that after. So I think I was in second for a while, and the leader went up to a lap car, and I don't know why, but decided to try and go around the outside of him. And obviously the lap car was like, "Oh, I'll move out of the way," and just took him with him. So I was like, "All right, we're in the lead now." Must have been with like only about 4 laps to go, so managed to just keep made and won the British in that. Then COVID hit, and we didn't really do a lot in COVID. There was a few meetings on, but never did a lot.
Yeah.
And
Wearing
then,
masks in the pits and one person allowed and all that
That's
crap.
it.
Oh.
And then we had went up to Cowdenbeath, won the Scottish Championship in the juniors. And then that was about it really in the junior Stoxkarts. And then we did a stint in the minis as well.
National minis?
Yes, national minis. So Russell and I sort of pestered us. So let me have a go in. So I was good friends with Thomas Andrew, 453 in Formula Ones. And he'd retired. And I was pestering Dad. I was like, let me have a go in a mini. And Russell Andrew is his dad. So I just let him in Tommy's shuttle car. I got this car and we sort of... It was a bit of an old shed. It went round, but it was like Bradford. You were like flat out all the way around, smoking.
You'd never driven a car?
No, never driven a car. So it was like we went to first practice and Dad was like, it keeps stalling. I've never driven a clutch before. And he was like, oh, you're going to have to give it a bit of throttle. So we were like, oh, God, here we go.
That's horrible, wasn't it, first learning?
Yeah, but no, I struggled in minis because we spent more money on the mini in, how many meetings? 14 meetings? 12 or 14 meetings than we did in the 3-4 years in junior Stoxkarts.
Wow.
It was like getting brand new tyres and like buffing them to nothing. It's like, what are we doing here? But so we did them for a little bit, and I mean, I won 2 heats, and I think I won a B final at Skegness. That was like full of yellow tops. So it was funny about that one. I got into it. I was like, I think the next quickest car was like Paige Hopkins or something. I was like, oh, I'll just be a bit of a doddle this. The yellow flags came out. I was like, oh, well, we'll just set off again. Set off, and all this, what? I was like, what? Bang! Paige's dad had told her, just keep it flat. If Thomas is in the lead, just keep it, just take him out. And done that, and I was like, all right, okay. So then tapped her out line and drove off again. And that was about. I never really did a lot in minis, but we didn't really have the car underneath us compared to what all the other lads had. It wasn't really. We didn't really have the gear to be doing it properly. And it was at the end of my season, so there was no point in spending stupid money on it. So it was just a bit of
You're in a bit of a crap time in that thing because you're like, we can spend a load of money, but you're only going to have a few months or whatever.
Exactly.
And if that even does work, or we just ride it out and we'll wait till you're 16 and we'll think of something else.
A lot of it was sort of more like the contact sense of it, because obviously with the Stoxkarts...
You enjoyed it?
It was one of them. It's like, I think... Never really had any big crashes. I was parked at the end of the straight at Bradford once. And I was like, oh, we'll be all right here. And then all of a sudden it was like, bang. I was like, whoa, what's going on? And the old car had sort of twisted. So when Russell wanted it bad, Dad had to try and like get the whole thing back somewhere straight again.
Just so you couldn't see it to the eye.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I never... It was a lot... Because obviously Stoxkarts, you got rubber bumpers. So unless you have a big one, it doesn't really hurt.
Nah, but you don't really notice it, but it's the rhythm of it, obviously, because you've got to build your speed up, and then you hit someone, it's like... Urgh.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
The big hits didn't really probably pay off in the stock carts anyway if you tried coming in too fast.
Not really. That's what Ian thinks I struggle with at the minute. It was like...
Ball in a China shop.
Yeah.
So yeah, from the minis then, 16, seed that out.
Yeah, so then we went got a V8.
Straight into V8s?
Straight into V8s. So
Why is that?
So I wanted a Formula 1. Dad couldn't afford a Formula 1. So the next best thing was a V8.
Yeah.
And it sort of... We didn't do F2s because they're quite complicated with all independent suspension and stuff. So we thought, if we go with a V8, it's like an old school Formula 1 in the sense of how they sort of run, as if you know what I mean.
Suspension-wise.
Yeah. And... yeah,
Plus, your dad's probably pretty clued up, being on the right team throughout the years.
That's it. It's sort of what you know. And you sort of look in the V8 rulebook at the minute, and it's like it's very similar to how the F1 rulebook used. There's a lot of like grey areas, if you know what I mean. So, but no, first meeting we looked at the fixture list, and it was either going to be a Cowdenbeath or a Bradford British.
Oh God!
So we ended up on Bradford British, and it was a tarmac car, and we sort of went out, and obviously I'd never driven anything with like a proper back brake that you had to sort of flick it in, and we were going around. I was like, it's got no back brake. And we found out they had some like fancy pads in the back. So that was what was on with it. But I had quite a good meeting, didn't I? Well, I set off first.
You bought this car second hand.
Yeah, so this was Ollie Spencer's.
Oh, is it the same car?
Yeah, this
Right.
is my original. Well, it's got a different roll cage on, all suspension's
Yeah.
different. But this is Ollie Spencer's world final winning tarmac car,
Right.
which is now a dedicated trail car.
So your first meeting.
First meeting was Bradford, and I sort of set off, and I was like, it's not that bad, this. Caught up to Kev Stutchbury, which was the national points champion at the time. Hit him, passed him, and then I think I got a flat tyre in my first race, didn't I? I think. What, in the fifth or something like that? Well, somewhere around there.
Is this the qualifying heats for the British?
Qualifying hits for the British. Second race, there was a yellow flag. I was up to fifth. Managed to pass two of them. I was up to third, and I was just gonna like try and hit somebody in the air rail. I went to brake. I missed my brake pedal, hit my throttle.
Oh, no.
So I spun Dan Pull down, Mark Pull's lad, and he was in second. So he wasn't very happy, like waving his hand. Obviously, I was a novice, so I wasn't supposed to be hitting anybody.
Black cross on the back.
I know. And then next race, I think I had a flat tyre in the next one, but I managed to qualify. I think I was third row inside or something like that. So I was lined up. Bear in mind, I don't even be starting at the back. I lined up in the pits, and the man came over to me. He's like, "Oh, you're third row inside." I was like, "I am not third row inside." I was like, "I'm going at the back." So I set off at the back, and I was up quite well, weren't I? I think a seventh or something like that. And I remember Dan Paul was behind me. I was like, "Oh no!" And it's funny. I'm mates with Dan now, and he sort of picked me up, and I was like, "Oh no!" And he sort of let off. And I remember now he still says, "I should have just kept my foot in it." He says, "I picked you up." I said, "You're going towards us." I was like, "I can't. He's his first meeting." But yeah.
And now he wishes he did.
Now he wishes he did, yeah. But, so we had a bit of a chaotic first. Well, I managed to roll Brian Andrews over in the same race that I spun Dan out, so nobody was very happy with me. But it was a good first meeting.
This
anyway.
mate is straight from Minis, just absolutely causing havoc. Them lot have raced all year for the British.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was that. And then we had quite a quiet first season because we started halfway through because my birthday's in June. So we had the British.
She was literally 16 bang straight in them then.
Yeah, straight in them. We didn't do any Stoxkarts in like senior Stoxkarts that year, did we? I don't think. Did we?
Yeah, 'cause you did treble. You won
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, so no, sorry. So yeah, we did we did quite a bit. So
So it's a good thing with these podcasts because
Yeah.
everyone that you speak to say, yeah, just rejog your memory and you can actually remember certain stuff.
So we did Skeg treble, and I was off white and won all three. And then we went to, where were we? Was it Sheffield? Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, Sheffield and Bradford. It was sort of 125s at Bradford that same week. So it was sort of, we had 5 days of racing, didn't we? Instead of 3 with Stoxkarts. So we did, obviously, with V8. We did, was it different? It was different days that day as well, weren't it? It was, because it was Saturday, no, it must have been Sunday, Monday, but then we were racing Friday, Saturday in the V8. So it was sort of like, all right, we'll go to Skegness, we'll do the Thursday night, we'll come home, we'll load that up, we'll go to Bradford, and it was a bit of chaos. But we came back with a load of trophies, didn't we? Because obviously I was white in Stoxkarts as well. So it was like, first day.
White in both.
Yeah, the first day cleaned up, and I managed to win Paul Inkley Memorial, which had a nice trophy. And yeah, so it was a bit of a manic first year, really.
But you were showing pace and you won.
We got up to red in the first year.
In the V8s.
Yeah.
How many cars are there normally in V8s?
About 25, 20 around there.
So that's good going. Then.
Yeah, it was fairly good going. To say at the time, obviously now there's sort of all your top dogs have sort of moved on. In a sense, you've had obviously new people come through, but you had like Steve Thompson was racing, Kev Stutchbury, Craig Smith, John Brown.
Sometimes you need that so the next lot can come through.
Exactly, that's it.
Definitely. But first year, then you took to it straight away.
Yeah.
You got, you was up there straight away in the British. First year finishing at red.
Yeah.
And then what sort of prep are you doing on these cars compared to like Formula Ones? They're like it's definitely 4 nights in the garage, no matter what.
Yeah.
With a V8, what is?
We try to do 2 days a week. If we have 2 good nights every week.
Is it just 2 of you?
Just 2. Well, there's a third, but he does a little bit every night. He does not a lot. But it's unless we've got like a front bumper to do or something like that. It's only really swap gears, swap tyres about, have a measure, put it on scales. So it's not a lot of work, but it's just when Like last year, we only ran one engine all year. So it was like...
In 2 cars?
Yeah. So it was
Oh,
like,
right.
take the engine out of that, put it in that one, put it in this one, put it in that one. So it was a bit more manic for maybe 3 days. But if you get on, it's not that much work, really. It's just making sure everything... Like, if something don't look right and it's a little bit off, just fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just leave it. Because that's when you go to meetings and you're like, you're having issues. It's like every time we have a championship, back axle's out, check the diff, make sure everything's all right, make sure nothing's off, so you don't end up going and
Being
let
on
down.
the back foot already.
Yeah.
So moving into second season then, which would have been
2023 would have been second season. Yeah.
Right, go on.
So we had a good start to the year. First grading period, made Superstar, so I was happy with that. And then
So straight away, good start off the Reds.
straight away, good start. So I was sort of finding my feet. We bought Kev Stutchbury's tarmac car, which is this sort of tarmac special car. Bought that over winter because that came up for sale. And we sort of looked at it, and I said to Dad, I said, "Oh, Kev's car's for sale." And he was like, "Oh no, that'd be like 18, 20 grand." And I messaged Neil. No, did you message Neil, didn't you? And he said to him, "So how much do you want for the car?" And he says, "Oh, 13." He says, "Oh, I've paid you the deposit." So we picked that up over Christmas. And then we got in it, and like steering wheel was down here, head was on the roof, knees were up here.
Bearing in mind you're a bit of a giant compared to some others. So
It's one of those, every single car I've had, we've had to
adjust the cage or
Yeah.
something. The stock cart had another roof on it, no doubt.
we actually did have another bar to try and lift the roof up a little bit. It was like, we looked and it was like, yeah, my head's getting a bit close on this. So we bought that tarmac car, so I was learning with that, and it was nice to have 2 cars.
At the beginning of the second season.
Yeah, beginning of second season. But the only problem I seemed to be having was gear sticks were on different sides.
Oh no.
I'll get onto it later. There's a funny story about this.
That's annoying.
Yeah, but so we had that, and the first championship was Hendersford, weren't it? So we had Hendersford British, and I first time racing there as well, weren't it? Well, in the V8s, obviously.
Yeah.
And did first heat, was quite good. We had decent results, and then second race, same again. Third one, we were like, could do with a set of gears in it, so dropped gears down a bit because it had
Could do with a set of gears in.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
We weren't revving enough. It was
Right.
it's got the same engine that Ian's got in his road legal stock car. It had a 3.5 in, which is sort of your equivalent to a small block, if you know what I mean. So it's higher revving, where the 4.2s are a lot more like lower end power.
Yeah.
So we thought, we'll just put a set of gears in it, see what we think to it. So I went out for the British, and it was sort of, I think it was Frank said to me, he says, just keep your wheels clean, just don't do out silly, and just take your time. He says, if somebody's in front of you, don't do out daft, but you can't win if you're in second, pretty much, is what he told me. So we got going. I think I started third, I think it was third row inside again, third, something like that.
This time you stayed there.
This time I stayed there, yeah. So we set off. Was going quite well. I think Cammy Durrell was leading, and John Brown took her out. And John got pulled onto the infield. So I think I was sat third or something like that. Made my way to the front, and then I had it was quite good race actually. It was all race, battling with Gillan Bullock, Evan Bullock. I think Gracie Squires was there as well. And it was like tit for tat, and it was just like, I remember we were coming down the home straight, and I had Evan on this side, Gillan on this side, but they were like just in front of me, and they sort of kept squeezing me. I was like, I'm going to end up in a big pile here in a minute. So I was like, I'm keeping in here. We got going, and then Evan got in the lead. I was going to go and hit him, but I was like, I'll just leave at this corner. And he went flying over the rumble strips, gave him 2 flat inside tyres. I was like, right, I'm leading here. So I got a gap, and then yellow flags came. I was like, oh, for God's sake, here we go. So I set off again, managed to get another gap. I was like, right, we're away here. Going around, come around again. Another yellow flag. So I was like, oh, there we go.
Give me a break.
I know. And I was like, right, I need to get this right, because there won't. I was thinking, I was like, there must be like at least like maybe 6 or 7 laps. And we're nearly at lap boards here. We set off again. I just got just big enough gap, and I was like catching some back markers. I was like, oh no, I can't. I need to like try and back up, because I looked in my mirror and I had a good gap. So I was like, all right, I'll just steady on a bit. Steadied on. I was like, I'm gonna have to speed up here. So I kept going, caught up to the back cars. Obviously, back markers were like, oh, moving out of the way. So we got clear of them. Came round, and then there was one last back marker. It was going into the last corner, and he was there, and I was like, he's going to do something daft here. So I backed off fully. I looked at my mirror, I was like, right, we're clear. And coming off the corner, For some reason, he just lit his tyres up. And I was like,
thinking
we finished here.
he'd won.
I was like, we're done. And then we got going again. It didn't take me out, and I won that. So that was that was my first full season in V8s. Managed to win the British.
That is good going.
Yeah, I know. That was before I passed my driving test, actually. Yeah. So I was still only 17 then.
That's quality.
Funny thing, the podium, 2 of them were 16.
Yeah.
Obviously, Grace Squires
Got third, yeah.
2 16-year-olds
Yeah, they handed
the
us
podium in
champagne.
British.
We said to them, we're like, can't drink this. But, yeah, no, so that was the first, my first championship winning the V8s.
Well, from that straight away, you're like, well, we're already established ourselves as a top name in it.
Yeah, that's
which is always handy. A lot of people, it takes ages to get your first one.
Yeah.
Whether you're in 1300s, V8s, F1s, sometimes it's like, I've gone 10 years now without one, and then they win one and win loads. But for you, it was the other way around. It was straight away.
Yeah, it's sort of like confidence boost as well. It's once you know you can do it.
100%. Because it don't dawn on you then after years, and you think, when am I ever going to do it?
Yeah, exactly.
But you've done it straight away. Yeah. So the British is done. You've won that. Nice black and white checkers on the roof.
Black and white checkered roof. And then we did, it was a world final 4 meetings later. So we had the British wing on for 4 meetings, and I managed to win the world final at Mildenhall. I remember going into it.
Did they have semis like the?
No semis. So you just have world qualifying rounds.
Yeah.
So off your rounds.
And that's your grid.
That's your grid
for the world.
Straight
Where
in.
did you start there then?
Front outside.
Right.
So everyone was like, it was around Mildenhall as well. So there's not a lot of room. And they're like, yeah, nobody.
Oh, you're still not racing?
Either.
Oh, no one.
I didn't race it. No, we didn't have any Mildenhalls that year, other than the world final.
Just what you want.
And we had Kiwis went out, and for some reason, instead of doing their 2 hot laps, they ended up doing like 15 laps until to like bed the track in, and we're all like, these lot have done way more laps than all of lot have done. So everybody was a bit like, because we had Asher Ease, he was over 1 NZ, Mitch Vickeries, he was over, he was 3 NZ that year, I think. And we were like, I think we're gonna have a Kiwi winner if we're not careful. But no, so I started front outside, and everybody was like, a big train first corner, but it's like, when have you actually seen a big train that's on the front of the pack, first corner in a world final? It just doesn't happen.
It's normally mid-pack.
Exactly. It's normally like your 5th row back is the ones that are going in.
You lot have just got sideways and around the corner by that point.
And so I sort of going into it, I was very confident. I said to Dad, I was like, I'm having this. I said, this is mine. I'm going to win this one.
That's the confidence from the British.
Exactly, that was it.
That is that.
It wasn't like a big-headed thing. It was more like I can do it.
Yeah.
I know I've got the confidence, because I'd done quite well on show that year. It was real quick that year. And we sort of went into it, and it was Mildenhall, obviously. So it was like 3 laps. We were on back markers, and so I caught up to them, and I think it was Amy Jagger. I passed her, and she sort of like lost it. And like let me onto a marker tyre. So I was like, right, keep my foot in it. Bounced off that, kept going. I was like, right, we're still going. And then I caught up to, I can't remember who it was now. Caught up to another back marker. Took me straight into the fence. I was like, mint, there we go. And that put me back to 2nd. And then I managed to work my way back. I was still in 2nd. And then Evan Bullock were leading. And he had the exact same misfortune I'd had. The exact same place.
Another back marker.
Yeah, so then I managed to get into the lead. And it was, Evan had just gone for a shot on me. John Brown had just clipped his back end, and he just missed me. This must have been 5 laps to go, so it weren't long left. And it was like, I just looked in my mirror, and I was like, everybody's gone. I was like, oh, here we go. So I had 5 laps on Mildenhall trying to not catch back markers,
but not be caught.
But it was, there was a massive bump going into 1 and 2. But
that's pretty standard for Mildenhall.
I know.
To be fair.
I'd been leading it for ages, so I hadn't been following it. So I didn't know. Sometimes when you start at the back, you can see roughly where people are running, what's working and what isn't. And I was like, do I go over it? Do I under it? Because I don't want to get a flat tire or anything.
You can't see anyone who's quick just going over it.
And I was going around. I was like, right, I've got to do 5 laps. That's all I've got to do. 5 laps. That was just nice and easy. So I was going around. I was like, right, we've got 1 lap left, and just before going on to my last lap, there was a wet patch of water. And I hit it. I was like, oh no, I've lost it. Oh no, we're still going. I was like, right, I've only got to do 2 more corners. 2 more. That's all I've got to do. 2 more corners. And I did it anyway. And it was almost surreal in effect. It was like, don't really believe what I've just done, if you know what I mean. But no, so that was...
Do you feel in their last 5 laps things started slowing down and you think, I could actually win this now?
Yeah, it was one of those, like, I've actually done it.
You actually start thinking, didn't you?
But it's just, this seems so long. Them World Finals just got on and on and
They 25 laps?
Yeah, well, so they're normally 25, but the Bradford one, that was only 20, just for how wet it was. So like, I don't think anybody will do 20 laps.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first season. I think we had second in the points. We had a bit of a ding-dong at the end of the year with the Bullock brothers. It was sort of...
Was that for the points?
It was for the points, yeah. But we got close to that. I think going into the last meeting at Sheffield... Well, no, it was... so there was a Kings Lynn before the Sheffield. And I'd always had a good reputation at Kings Lynn. Always seemed to go really well around there. And we went there. I was winning the first heat, and then car cut out on me. Still don't know to this day what happened. It just cut out, wouldn't start. So I was like, right, okay, well, we need to really win these next 2 races. Won the next 2 heats, so it's like, right, we could be on for points here. I was still 20 points behind or something like that, but it was last meeting with Sheffield. Evan Bullock.
Yeah.
He was the man to beat. And it was Sheffield last meeting, so it was like, oh, we could have a go here. And went to Sheffield, and Stuart Milnes came up to us after, and he took me and Evan aside. He was like, right, he says, I know you two have been having a ding dong. Says,
Who's this?
Stuart Milnes. He'll be Stuart at meeting. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And he was like, he said, I don't want any funny business. Says, if anything's daft, says, you'll just be loaded up. So I was like, I've got to really race him then. I can't really do a lot more. But so we went off for the first race. I think I had second, but then I got disqualified from the results because my transponder wasn't working. So I had Tracy Robson went up to the box. This is unfair, shouting and screaming at Stuart, and he was like, "Nope, it's sticking." So that was sort of the end of my points.
That's pathetic.
I know.
That's pathetic.
It sort of ruined the day, and after that, it all just went downhill. One of our mechanics hadn't come that normally refills the car, and what had we done? It bent summit, and you were under the car welding. So I was like, right, I won't fill it up while because he was under back.
Good idea.
So I was like, I'll just hang fire. I was like, oh, you just need to fill fuel up once you're done. And Dad must have not heard me. So I went out for an extra. It's like, but. I was like, oh, for God's sake. And then it ran out of fuel.
He didn't fuel it up!
And it was like, it's Freddie's fault. It was like, well, Freddie's not here.
God, baby.
I know. And then we went, it was the final. And somehow I hit a post.
But you'd lost it now.
I'd lost it then.
Right.
I was like, I'm not winning this. It was a final. Somebody put me on a personal. I packed up and ended it straight. I was like, Evan started coming. I was like, bang it in reverse. I'll just pull it in front of him. Bosh, hit the back wheel. I was like, oh yeah. Set off again. It was like, back wheel guard was on the back inside wheel. So I was like, oh, can't really do a right lot now. So that was the end of our sort of year with a bit of
end of the season.
Oh yeah. So that was the final, which was a bit of a letdown. And then they did a Kiwi race, which was clutch start, closed grid. I think it was 10 laps. 10 laps drawn out of a hat. So draw your places out. I think I was like 4th row inside, something like that.
Was this just for a bit of fun?
It was it was for a roof colour at the time. There's a white and red checkered.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
We never ran it again. So it's sort of, I was like, I want to win this because that was the year I was supposed to be going to New Zealand. That January, wasn't it? Yeah, that January I was supposed to go to New Zealand with Emma and Russell Andrews. So I was like, I'll try and win this one. And it was red flags if you got, so you sort of stop where you are.
Yeah,
keep your gap.
there's no
so
moving.
You had to make your move at the start. So sort of set off, managed to stack it because here's another bit to it. It was that wet. Water was coming out of the drains.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. So it was water all the way across the track. But the final was dry. So and we hadn't had much rain either.
Well, we just had water start appearing off the track.
Come up through the track. So we all went out and we didn't have new tyres on or anything. It wasn't like we'd prepared for it. Goggles, I thought, it's just a race. I won't need them. It was dry last race. Went out, I was like, oh, I think we're going to struggle here. So we set off. I think I put Amy Jagger on a post coming into the first corner. Paul Prest on a post coming out of the first corner. I was like, right, I've got John Brown in front of me. That's it. And so went down the next straight and I was like, oh, right. Oh, okay. Well, that's that gone. So I take my goggles off.
No more tears. No more rip and rolls.
That was like one. Oh. So we were going around behind John And I was like, I cannot see anything.
I can imagine the spray these things pick up.
I know.
Yeah.
And it was like, because it was all water as well. And Sheffield's quite stony. So it was like getting pebble dashed. And you're there, you're going around. And John couldn't see anything either. Put himself on a post. I was like, nice one.
Gusty.
Yeah, I was like, that'll do. So I was in the lead. I caught up to Paul Prest again. But I didn't know it was Paul Prest. I couldn't see anything. I just saw this red car. And I was struggling to see where to go, where to turn. So I was like, I'll just push this car around. I was like, if anybody comes past me, I'll just take them out. But I'll just push this one car around. I was going around, I was just pushing him around. And I remember he said to me afterwards, why did you push me out? I said, I couldn't see. I said, you were my eyes.
If you hit something, I could just bounce off of you and carry on.
Exactly. I was like, I'm just aiming for that red blur. So I was pushing him around. And I managed to win that one. That was horrendous. I remember after, they're like, oh, you got some water to wipe my eyes out. I sort of wiped my eyes. I was like, everything's blurry. So we ended up going A&E that night, didn't we? And we were sat there for hours, waiting to get these stones taken out. And we just sat there, and every now and then you'd say, dink, when one of the little pebbles would drop out of my eyes. Like, Jesus.
Oh, mate.
And by the time I'd actually gone in, she was like, there's nothing in your eyes. I was like, well, we know that. It was like, they're on the floor. They've all fallen out.
I bet your eyes were red.
And it was everything. The only reason we went to A&E is because everything was blurry. I actually couldn't see. I said to you, I can't see anything. That was the worst I've ever had it. But no, so that was an eventful first year.
Yeah, first full year.
First full year.
So you had the 2 ups of the British and the world, and then could have won the points, but that was definitely not fair. It's not your fault. And then obviously, but then you come away with the red and white checkers as well.
Yeah, so we ended the year on a high again.
Not bad. So then you spoke about New Zealand. Then when did that come in? Or so we're in the 2024 season now.
Yeah, so it was January 2024. We went across.
So the end of this season just gone.
Yeah.
The end of 2023 season.
Yeah.
Now in January you've gone.
So we went across. So I've always wanted to go, and I've always pestered Dad. I was like, "Oh, we'll go to New Zealand. Go to New Zealand." And Dad's like, "No, it's too far. I can't have that time off work." And I spoke to my boss. I was like, "Right, I'm planning on going to New Zealand for a month. Can I go?" And he was like, "Yeah, no, that's fine." So like, mint. Now I've got to find somebody to go with. And Emma and Russell Andrew, they were going across as a family thing. And so I think, was it you or Mum who said to her and said, "Oh, could Thomas come with you?" So I went with them. It was a little bit racing, but purely holiday, supposed to be. So,
but you want to go see the racing as well?
We were going to watch the 240s, which is when we land, which is their sort of, it's not their world final, but it's like a British, a European. It's a big title.
Thing.
Yeah.
For the Superstox.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we went across to watch that, and Carl Hawkins was in one of Dave Riley's hire cars, and he crashed with somebody down the straight, and so the car was in front of him, and he was like this. So he was like, you know what, I'll try and like ram past him. So he was reversing, trying to get past, because obviously all these cars are coming past and they don't go yellow flag, so you're either going to go red flag, you're on the infield, or if you keep moving, they'll leave it. But you're not allowed to ram a stationary car. So Carl got banned that meeting and was supposed to be racing a stock car, which is like our V8.
The V8 version, yeah.
Yeah, at Kiki and Rotorua the weekend after. And obviously he got banned. And Dion Henderson, one of the Kiwis across there, he came up to me. Never spoke to the bloke in my life. Didn't have a clue who he was. He says, Carl recommended you. Would you like to have a go in a stock car? I was like, yeah. I mean, I guess. I didn't have any... Because Hannah was racing the... So the stock cars, they have a ladies' crown, same 240s night.
Yeah.
Which is just girls. It's their sort of premier thing of the year. And Hannah was racing in that, so she had all her gear.
In a stock car or
in the stock car. So you have the stock cars with the ladies, and then the Superstox with all the others. And she was racing in that. So Hannah had done a bit of racing and stuff. And Dion had come up to me, said, "Do you want to have a go in it?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really." I asked Emma and Russell, and they were like, "Oh, well, we don't really want to be held responsible for you in it," which is fair enough. I mean, you're halfway across the world. And Clint Durrell, Cammy Durrell's dad, who was racing in the ladies' crown as well, he said, "No, I'll be a responsible adult." It's like, "Oh, that'll do." So we...
I need someone to look after me.
Yeah, I know. I was like, "Clint, will you just be a more responsible adult?" And we went to... So Cammy had been at Waharoa, which is one of their sort of outlaw tracks.
Yeah.
So you've got your main tracks and then your outlaw tracks. Practicing, and Lewis Gaylor, her boyfriend, had a go in the stock car. He said, it's rubbish. He said, it's no good, this car. It was a bit of a nail. It weren't the greatest. And he was like, no, I don't want, no point racing that. It's a waste of time. I was like, I'll just have a go. You know,
I'm here.
There.
I want to have a go.
Yeah. I've always watch on the TV and stuff. We're like, we'll just go across. So we went down to the workshop and we were sort of messing about, trying to get me comfy in it, head right in the right spot, moving the steering wheel closer.
Sticking out the top.
The good thing about across there, they have a 4-inch head from the roof. So if you sort of slouch when you go screwing in, you're clear. So we were fine with that. But it was when we were putting a different seat in it because Dion's sister had raced it. Jessie, she's only small. So the seat was tiny. I was like, I'm not fitting in that. So we put his dad's seat in it. And he was there. He was about to start chopping these brackets out. I'm like, whoa, Dion, just steady on a minute. He was like, whoa, so there was 3 drums of racing fuel behind the car in the garage when he was trying to grind it. I'm like, you'll blow half a rotor up if you're not careful. So like, we'll roll it outside.
Yeah.
So we rolled it outside and
Jesus.
got it started chopping away. Got me comfy in that. And we ended up racing at Rotorua. First race, I mean, it was different for me because it had a ZF in it. So it was sort of your first, and then you had to come down across and then back up again for your third. Obviously, instead of the straight back.
Yeah.
So we did that, and across there, obviously, it's new like clutch starts and stuff. So I was like, right, I'm new to this, and we got going, and I did quite well.
How did they decide the grids on that?
Random. So
That's
you
random.
get a front, middle, back grid.
Right. Yeah.
So you'll have it's even.
There's
really.
no grades.
No grades. So you could have your world champion on the front, at the back.
Yeah.
Cool. And we got going, and we got fairly well. Jessie was in her brother's car, which was like one of the top stock cars. It was like a real nice bit of kit. Had bloody bird cages on and everything. Like mine was still on like 3-link and stuff. It was a bit of a nail. We were going around. I was like, not too bad here. And we got up to, I think I was somewhere near. It was like 6th or something. And I pulled into pits. And Dion was absolutely over the moon. He was like, mate, that was brilliant. I was like, what's up with you? He said, car's never gone so fast. I was like, oh, that'll do. So
That's exactly what you want to hear when you come off of that.
I know. And he was buzzing. And he was like, we'll see how you go on. You could do Kiki tomorrow as well, which is another track. I was like, oh, okay, right. So kept going. Second race was, I can't remember what I didn't do much. And it was third race. I'm like, right, I'll try and do something here. We're going around. I says, I was in I think I must have been in 4th. I think I was in 5th. And Jessie was in front of me, and she was like, she's wild. She was like backing herself in backwards, concrete fence, like bouncing off the fence. I was like, all right, okay, I'll go past. I was like driving down the bottom, nice and square. Obviously, I couldn't do a lot because I didn't have a lot of power. Nice and square. Drove past her, and somebody went for a last man shot, which is they're quite frowned upon across there. It's sort of the racing's quite not soft, but it's a lot of like just like nudge and earth rails, squeeze past. Somebody had gone for a big last man shot and missed, and this was the third. So I was like, see what happens there. So he was sort of out wide, sort of hung out to dry, and I was like, you know what? He can have this. So I cut straight across the corner, straight into the side of it, bounced him up the fence. There's a video, and Dion's going mental on the fence. Everybody's cheering. I came back, so I got third. I came back into the pits, and the other bloke's like, what's that Pom doing? I'm going to kill that Pom and all this stuff. I was like, oh, for God's sake, what have we started? So he was fuming, but Dion was over the moon. He says, that was awesome. He says, you're definitely coming to Kiki tomorrow.
Because she secured the
it.
drive.
Next drive sorted.
Yeah, exactly.
So, on to Kiki. The difference with Kiki and Rotorua fence has got like a slant at the bottom and then goes up. So if you hit it, you sort of ride up it. You don't really, it's not a thud. Kiki sort of towers over you. So you hit it. And
right. The other one you sort of roll up.
Yeah, so it's a lot of the tracks are like that across there. So you'll see them when they like block in, you'll see them turn them in the fence and they just nicely go up. Kiki's not like that. You just stop. But we went there and Jesse's boyfriend was racing as well, which was last year's 1NZ. So he was like top dog, real nice car as well. And Dion was like, I'll race, I'll do some blocking for you. I'll try and get you to win. So obviously he was slowing down and stuff, taking people out. And I think it was the last race of the day. So we were quick all day. I think I had fastest lap time nearly every race with it, which it was like...
In that car?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was like flat out all the way around. He was like, we'll drop the limiter as well. So he raised the limiter, and he kept the gears in it. So it was like halfway down the straight, it was like, bam, 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 bam. I was like, oh, for God's sake. And I remember after the first race, I came off, I said to him, do you realise it's hitting limiter? He says, oh, when's it hitting limiter? He goes, I go halfway down the straight. He's like, you're going fairly fast then. I was like, well, that'll do then.
Yeah.
So we were going round for the last race, and Dylan was like, right, you're winning this one. I think I was second. Benny, Jesse's boyfriend, was first. So I was like, right, Benny won't do out daft, so I'll just stick with him. If I can stick with him, I'll be happy. So I was pushing him around. I was like, I'm catching him here. So I knocked him out wide, went past him, and I got caught behind a back marker or something like that. So he got back past me. And then Dion had taken the leader out early on in the race, which was the same bloke that I rattled up the fence at Rotorua.
Oh, no.
So he wasn't very happy. So I was going round, and Benny was leading. There was like 2 laps to go. They don't have lap boards over there.
Oh, so you don't know?
You've got last lap flag, and that's it. So you've got to count your laps. Yeah. So I was like, can't be far off here. And I see this car. I'm like, he's going quite slow here. I think he's waiting for me. So I was like, I'll just keep my foot in it. So I kept my foot in it, and honestly, the dive he went for was ridiculous. Turned full lock right, missed me completely, rattled himself up the fence. I did hit the fence myself just because I was trying to go in that fast, so he missed me. I was like, right, he's missed me here. Right, here we go. And Dion had managed to block Benny at the other end, which I hadn't seen. So he stacks Benny in, and then there was a wet patch half around the corner. Obviously, everything had already happened, so I wasn't really paying attention. I was just trying to keep myself in a straight line. I'd hit the wet patch, and as I did it sort of sent me onto the infield, and Benny had just got me, and I just had second. But it was one of them. It was like everything was happening at once. It was chaos. And there's another video on that one. All you can hear is Emily and Jessie in the background. Emily's Dion's girlfriend, just going, "Go on, Thomas!" And Jessie's there going, "Go on, Benny!" And it's like, for God's sake, we're gonna have a fight in a minute. But no, New Zealand definitely. That trip was.
So you finished second in that.
Finished second in that.
He didn't get you the win, but you got second.
Didn't get a win, and you don't get any trophies.
Someone else off.
I know. Seem to have a good job at that in New Zealand. So yeah, we had a very good New Zealand trip anyway, and then we did teams, which was when we had third in the teams. Which that was really enjoyable. That's something that.
So that was the same year you done teams.
Well, I didn't do the teams. I was just mechanicking.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it's something that you'll definitely have to go across and experience. It's
100%.
another world. It's just the track craft that you need to try and stop a car while making sure your teammates passed, and it's amazing.
Madness.
Really. Yeah.
But to watch, was you as part of it mechanicking for the GB lines?
Yeah, so we were mechanicking, and it was like Frank's car was obliterated. So we just had like a full team on Frank's car, and there was like 5 of us on the rest. It was. Yeah.
Well, there's a load of you there that will help out them for the English.
So Pollock Cranes helps out with Frank quite a bit, and they're giving us 2 of their lads a full wagon of spares and a car. So you couldn't really complain with that. And Charlie's, he had one of Marty Jones's cars, one of the lads across there, and sort of he had 2 lads with him, and they were wanting to do it their way. So we're like, right, we'll leave them to, and we'll just work on.
Let them work on their car.
Yeah, we'll work on Yelly's car, Little Ted's car, and Niels's car. And
that's just metalwork repairs, suspension, fuel.
Yeah, the main thing's just making sure they're fueled up, greasing tyres. That's a big thing across there.
Greasing tyres?
Yeah, so greasing the tyre wall, so when bumpers hit them, it slides off.
As opposed to punching through.
Yeah, so you'd be surprised how much of a difference it makes. So we're like greasing tyres after every race, making sure wings are like properly cable tied on, because you can get pulled off for
a dodgy wing.
A dodgy wing coming off. And obviously you're having some fair lump of contact, so you need to make sure nothing's flying off.
Everything I can imagine is like secondary and third fixed. For your wing, you probably got not only bolts but welds and all sorts extra bungees and cable ties. And
well, I think one of the cars, wheel guard bolt kept snapping. Like, it was like M12 bolts, so it was doing well to snap them. And we're like, we'll just weld the wheel guards on. I had the flat tyre the next race, so I went to chop the wheel guard off. But yeah, it was.
So it was a good experience that first year out there.
It was brilliant.
In fact, you got to race.
I got to race as well. That was the main thing. And that's where the sort of the friendship with Dion came along. And yeah, teams were just. It's like when we went one day for. Between the first and the second day in the morning, you sort of need to go and like just do checks over the car, make sure they're ready for the second day. And we were at Scott Meyer's place in a garage, and there was like cars from 4 different teams. It was just mad. And it like he was coming across with like he'd been to Subway. He was like come with like 50 sandwiches. It was like mate, ridiculous. Some of them just how
they
nice
love it, don't they?
The people are. It's the thing with the racing across there. It's the second biggest sport. Stock cars are the second biggest sport. It says you've got rugby. Then you've got stock cars. You've got speedway. It's just,
are they big on speedway over there, are they?
Well, not speedway, so they call it speedway. That's sort of our oval racing. So you've got bikes, there's like sprint cars, midgets, super saloons, all sorts of stuff.
All on them tracks, same tracks.
And they all
which is
race.
why there's 20 odd tracks.
Exactly. It's tracks every. I couldn't believe it when they were saying, oh, yeah. I mean, if you go like an hour that way, we've got 2 that way. It's like, wow.
We had a look on the maps, didn't we? Me and Chelsea had a look on the maps, and you're like, there's one there, one there, one there. But being the second biggest sport,
exactly
on the islands that it is,
yeah,
it's going to be mad.
Everybody knows it.
It's good, which is which is completely different to over here, where we're just the biggest, the best kept secret in the UK
definitely.
stock car racing, and it's for such a good sport. We're like so far down in the UK, it's ridiculous. Go over to New Zealand, everyone's probably got the t-shirts on.
It's like when we went clubbing somewhere. I think it was Hamilton. Me and Dion went out, and we got chatting to these people, and this bloke comes up to me, put his arm around me, he goes, "Are you that Palm that raced Dion Henderson's car?" I was like, "Yeah." He says, "You're on, bro," and then bought us drinks for the rest of the night. I'm like, "Oh, that'll do."
Cushy.
Yeah.
Nice. So we've done a bit of New Zealand racing, then moving into the 2024 season.
Yeah.
Your second full season. You've got the British, the World, and obviously the New Zealand, one as well. Talk us through that season.
We had a bit of a rubbish season, really, didn't we? So British was at Bradford, defending that. And we went into that. I was quite confident. I think I was 4th or outside, so a bit of an odd place to be. Set off, and
it's quite a bad place, really.
I know, it's one of those
outside.
You sort of hung out to dry. So I was like, right, best get my elbows out. And then somebody spun across the front of me, so I was like bad car on the yellows, and we got going again, and it was quick, but we were just too far back. And then all of a sudden, I was like, my feet are getting well hot. It busts the core plug out of the inlet manifold.
So you got a load of water
going.
A
load of hot water on my feet.
Oh.
So then a big cloud of smoke came. I was like, oh. Yeah, best pull off now. There was 4 laps to go. I was like, it's not worth it for 3rd.
No.
And then we had a European, wasn't it? And the European, that was... I wanted to win. I needed to win something. I was like, oh, come on. We had a terrible British. Frank said the same thing again. He says, don't be in second. Just anything. Whoever's in if you get up to the front, if you can hit the leader, just hit him. So we set off. So obviously the Europeans... Your white, yellow, blue, red, closed grid. So I was quite far back. Set off going. I think John Brown was leading, and then it was like Paul Prest, and then me, I think. And there was a yellow flag. So we got going again, and I was like, right, Paul can have it. So I hit Paul, got past him, and then John came steaming past and just went underneath my nerf rail and must have knocked my silencer off. So I was like, oh, right, okay. But we didn't know at the time, so I got going again. John went past, so I was like, no, you're having it here. So he sort of backed it in, trying to rip the lip. I just went straight across the corner, straight through his nerf rail. I was like, right, that was a mint shot. Got away, and going down the straight, I went, whoa, and then it had this bump, and I was like, oh, must be getting a bump down there somewhere. It wasn't. Silencer had come off and put Olin back inside tyre. So then I'd gone into the next corner, was fine. And John had hit Paul, and they'd both stitched each other off. So bear in mind, at this time, I was like half a lap in front. I was gone. Going around, I was like, just getting slower and slower. And then...
You had a slow puncher.
Yeah, but the silencer had come off, so it sounded fast. It was like, wow, screaming down the straights. And it's got slower and slower, and it popped. I was like, it must have been 6 laps. I wasn't far off the end. And I was like, going along, I was like, oh, come on. And then one car would come past, right, that's second. Oh, that's 3rd. I was like, yeah, I'll just pull off. It's not worth it. So that was a real letdown.
Terrible end to that.
Yeah. And then World Final was bad as well. That was at Bristol.
So in between these, was you still up the front and winning? It wasn't like the whole season was bad. It was just come to these championships and you were struggling.
Yeah.
The tarmac engine was late coming back.
Right.
The lad who was building it discovered the block was napped.
Yeah.
So we didn't get it until sort of not halfway up to the season, but we were fair way in.
Yeah.
We'd only really been doing shale
Right.
that year.
We didn't really. Yeah.
Because you only had the one engine.
That's it.
You was just focusing on shale.
Yeah, just focusing on shale. We're still doing tarmac when it came back. The engine did. And then where did we? Well, it was sort of a curse with that wing. Well, we call it the green wing because it's not very gold. We took it to the paint shop and it came back and we were like, that is not gold. So we've got a green wing.
Paid all this money and it comes back.
I know.
Like, oh.
And when we took.
Now you said that, I can
It's
see the
very
green.
green.
Before you said that, it did look gold to me.
It's weird because you look at it in pictures, looks gold. Look at here, that's definitely.
You know,
green.
the worst thing is because you got the one.
Yeah.
It's very gold.
That's the difference.
And then you look at the rest of it and you're like, yeah, that's not gold.
Yeah. It's a cursed wing. I think that's what the issue is.
Right,
I've never won anything with that wing on. We had a gold wing.
So I'm guessing this is your one from 2023 that you kept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cursed. But the week after, actually, funny enough, the only other time I've won on tarmac with a gold wing, like in the stint that we had that one, was the week after the World Final in 23, when we put a different gold wing on it. We had this like Subaru gold one. It was like, nah, that's not good gold. So we took that one off. That's hung up in the workshop, and that's the only ever gold wing I've won with. That's in the green colour. But yeah, so World Final in 24 was Bristol. Qualified pole.
Bristol.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, so you already know how it's going to finish. So qualified pole. We had practice that time. So I went out for practice and it was rapid. Ridiculously quick my car was. Everything was perfect. Set off. First one, I remember Timmy Aldridge said to me before the start, he says, right, I'm going to leather everybody. He says, you just go and then we'll race after. I was like, yeah, sound. I always got along with Timmy. I always raced really well with Timmy. First start, I'm gone. Timmy levers everybody. Me and him, first, second.
Acoustic.
Red flag come out, full restart. And the damage was ridiculous on everybody else. Dan Paul had been knocked out twice.
Gained consciousness again and then straight back out.
So he was sat on the side of his car. Everybody's like trying to feed him more. He's like, oh, Dan, do you know where you're at? Yeah. I'm at home. Dan,
I'm at home.
You're in the World Final, pal. So he got back in and we had back axles out and all sorts. So that everybody be a bit more sensible this time. Next start, I didn't get away as well. And I got back to, I think I was back in third or something. And funny enough, Dan Paul put Gillan Bullock on top of me. And we'd had a bit of a ding-dong with Gillan every now and again. So I was like, right, you're having it. Banged it into first, snapped a synchro, so I only actually had second. So I was like, trying to roll him over. Wasn't working. So he was parked on the front of me, sort of on the infield. And the tracks comes over, lifts him off of me. And I only had a flat front inside puncture. So I was like, it'll go again. And around there, you're sort of always sort of on your outside. You're never having to... It probably might have won that race, actually, if it could have gone again. And Marshall came over to me and says...
What, with a flat tyre?
Oh, yeah. It will quick around there. It'd surprise you. Marshall came up to me. I go, oh, can I start again? No, you're on the infield. So I got out of my car, went off track. Next thing I know, Gillan Bullock's pulling back on track. Bear in mind, he'd been packed on top of me a couple of minutes ago. I was like, right, what's gone on here then? So they all lined up again for yellow flags, set off, and this almighty heap of cars just crashed. I think, how many cars was left? 7 cars. Bear in mind, this is lap 5. There's 7 cars left, and it was all blue tops, wasn't it? All blue tops, white tops, and yellow tops. There was no reds
are all done
left.
each other.
And they're going around, and it was one of those. It was just, we were like, there's no point. Is if the track won't keep us go by the rules as such, if you know what I mean. There's no point in racing, supporting a track, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we were sort of like, well, we'll just go home. Bear in mind, this is Bristol, miles away from home. And on the way, I was like, fancy racing a modified? And so we rung Simon Panton. And we said, because it was a Bradford the day after the World Final.
Yeah.
So bear in mind, this is go home, then go to Bradford. And we rang him up, and he was like, do you think you get his car sorted? Bear in mind, this is like 10 o'clock at night, must have been. He was like, yeah, I think we can sort something. So we ended up going Bradford the next day, and it was in his hire car. So it's an alright car, not the best, and it did alright, not the best in it. And then it was the final. It started lashing it down. So like, I quite like the wet race. And I was like, might be in for something. Bear in mind, I was off back red.
The thing is, well, it just evens up a lot
Yeah,
as well, doesn't it?
100%.
So you're on for it, yeah.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, I had bald
Old
tyres
tyre.
on as well. So Connor, his son, was there putting like new tyres on. I was like, "You're not going to swap these?" No, he'll be all right.
Nah, you'll be right, Thomas.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
So I started off red, and it was Alistair Houghton, I think, in front of me. So I was like, I'll just like stick behind him for a bit, follow him around. And I was like, if I just keep on his back bumper, he'll eventually slip up. He'll like look in his mirror and miss his braking point. And he did. He slipped up, and I managed to squeeze up his inside. Obviously, with that, they're on contact.
Yeah.
So you've literally just got to sort of rub them
Open
up a
wheel.
bit. Yeah. And I came past him. I looked in the mirror. I was like, oh, he's gone. He couldn't see anything. So he was like, I'm just going to back off. I'm not even going to bother. And I was leading the final. I remember it was Freddie Oldham was on the starter marshal rostrum. And with the modified, they've got quite a bit of power. It's like, I was gone. So I was like, I'll just keep lighting up. So halfway down the straight, I was blipping the throttle and just absolutely covering Freddie, who was on the starter marshal. And I was leading the final and got to the last lap, went across the finish line, goggles packed up as I went across the finish line. I was like, I can't see anything. And I wasn't fast enough to take the goggles off. And I was sort of just like parked in the middle of the track. I just slammed on everything. I was like, I can't see. I don't want to, because with the hire cars, you have to pay damage as well.
Right.
So like, I don't want to break anything. We've done all day without breaking anything. I don't want to start breaking stuff. But yeah, so luckily, goggles packed in as I went across the line with them. So that was about.
So you won it.
I won the final, which was funny enough. Is
it a good track for them, for the UK models? Because it's quite a big track.
It's good when the track comes in, when the surface is there. So I raced there another time before that, and it was sort of, there was an outside line coming in, but obviously they're all sort of stick to their own line. So I was there trying to like rip the top, and like I could, if I wanted to, try and drive down the outside of people. But when I'm there, I'm like, the gap's slowly closing up, so I'm going to try
They're
this.
just coming out the corner.
Yeah, somebody's going to like, I'm going to be up the fence in a minute. So they are good for it at Bradford anyway. And then Northampton's, it's not so great for them there. It's sort of quite a one-liney track. You've got to sort of pick your times when it's quite sort of single file racing. Where Bradford, you could sort of flick it in. If you, sort of the faster you went in.
2 lines as well.
Yeah.
You could get 2 lines there.
That's it. So no, yeah.
That was your modified.
That was my modified. That was my short modified career.
So no. But you didn't damage it. That's the main thing.
Well, not that time.
Oh right, we got another one to come.
Oh yeah, well.
So finishing that year then, Silver Roof.
No silver roof. Not
No.
that year.
Third.
Third.
Oh, you didn't race beginning of the season on tarmac, did you?
So we didn't really win a lot that year, did
So
we?
you had a bad year considering the year before.
Yeah, quite a bit. It was a bit of a setback. Yeah.
You lost the world final.
Yeah.
And I think you won every final.
Yeah, it was literally as soon as the gold wing was gone, I won everything again. It was real, like just I had no look at it. Just cars pulling out in front of me, stuff like that. Just stupid stuff. And then as soon as the gold wing was gone, I was like, oh man, we're away
Everyone's opening up again. What's
again.
going on
I was
here?
like, well, it's like,
Some people do say gold wing's the curse though, isn't it?
definitely first time it is. When you have it first time, it's definitely a curse.
It's pressure, you're the world champion.
That's it. Everybody's looking.
Did you have number 1 for your first year?
For the first year, yeah, I did.
You did. Right. That might be it. Might be the number.
I think that's what it is. Tom Harris gets away with it, but he's had it enough times. Now.
Yeah, he's probably had enough bad seasons
Yeah.
for them to now change. So did you go New Zealand for 2025 then?
Yeah, so 2025, I went across with Declan Gwynn and Harvey Wells, which are 2 of my pals, and this was purely so either get them to enjoy New Zealand, but a lot of racing. So
you went out. Did you already have cars sorted before you went out?
I spoke to Dion and I said, "Can you sort me a stock car out?" He was like, "Yeah, you can have the fast car." I was like, "Mint, that'll do."
Look, he's got the driving the fast one this time.
That's it. I get to have a play in the fast. Well, he said you can have a play in the fast one as long as you fix it.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
right.
was like, okay, won't be that big of a job.
Oh, it wasn't fixed when you got
Oh,
there?
no. So we get to New Zealand, same time. So we get there for 240s.
Yeah.
First day comes round, and it was a quiet day. Not a lot really happened. And Ethan Levine, somebody who had to go in my Stoxkart, a Kiwi, which was 2NZ at the time, which is like second in the world final.
Is NZ the stock cars or the Superstox?
Superstox.
Right. So
Like, they have the NZs and stock cars and Superstox.
Right.
Well, in all the formulas. but it was the Superstock 2NZ.
So it's the top ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said to me, he says, "Oh, do you fancy going in my car?" I was like, "Yeah, definitely." And I rang Dad, and I said, "Oh,
You didn't go with him this year again?"
It was
no?
literally just me and my two other mates.
Yeah.
And I rang Dad. I was like, "Oh, I've been offered this car." He said, "Whose car?" I was like, "Oh, Ethan Levine's." Like, "Oh, right, okay." Apparently, this is probably a better car than all the other English had been offered. And he was like, "Right, you can go in it if Frank says that you fit." He says, "If Frank says okay, is it? You can do it." And Frank had a bit of a ding dong with them when they came across. So I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to try and sweet talk him into coming over and just looking at how close my head is to everything." And he came over and I sat in it. It's like, "Are you comfy?" I was like, "Not really, but I can race it." And he was like, "Well, you've got enough headroom, so you're not going to bang yourself on anything." I said, "Yeah, you can race it." I was like, "Mint, that'll do." So Harvey then, Harvey and Deck, instead of mechanicking for Dion at the time, who he got a bit of a dinger of a Superstock. He just wanted to find his feet a little bit, got a bit of a nail. So they ended up coming across and mechanicking for me. And I was sat in this car, like my legs are like together. There's no room because there's all this padding everywhere, with this big knee pads on. The steering wheel's like on my lap, so I can only really use one hand to drive it. I set off for the first race. Nobody had told me where the gears were, right? So I was there, and he banged it into gear. So it had a Raptor box in, so you've got to be quite rough with them. You've got to like proper bang it into gear. Yeah. So banged it into first, straight forward. And he said, yeah, first, and then straight to second. It's like, mint, nice and easy. I set off on the zone limiter, blah, 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 ready to go. Flag went, what? Went backwards.
Oh, no.
Reverse was, so obviously in everything else, it pulls it across to where first and second is forwards. If you know what I mean? And then you pull it across for reverse. Not this one. It pulls it towards reverse. So straight forwards reverse, you've got to pull it across and then up for first. So I was there, I was like, wow, reverse backwards.
Somebody thinks you're trying to block them straight away.
Bear in mind, this is a funny bit, bear in mind, Dion and all my mates, I literally stood there, laughing at me. I looked up at him on the video, you could see me look over and shook my head. So I put it in reverse, went back, I was like, what the hell's going on here? So then tried to go again, I was like, right, we'll put it in another gear, and then I found first. Got going, and I was like, my arms were in pieces. I was like, why is this so hard to turn? Came into the pits, like, is there steering heavy on this? He was like, yeah, it's a little bit heavy. I was like, I just can't steer it. I was like, I'm not going to race it if I can't. I couldn't steer it. I was like, borderline out of control. Came back in, I was like, just put some power steering fluid in it. 2 bottles later. Oh. So then went out for the next one. I was like, oh yeah, well that's a bit easier. And I was doing quite well, and then somebody spun out in front of me, so I was towards the back, and then leaders came round, and I was sort of keeping up with Brad McGee. He'd won the GP that year, which was one of their big titles. I was like, oh, we're pretty quick here. And it was the last race. I was like, I've got to do something. So we set off.
I need to sort out my next drive.
I know. And it started to rain. I was like, and over there, they don't race in the wet.
Don't, no.
As soon as it rains, they just cancel the meeting. So I set off and I see this rain coming down. I was like, I could be in for something here. And all them lot are like trundling around, right?
And you obviously like the wet shale.
Yeah, real slow around the bottom. And I was like, I was backing it in around the top. Scream, like bouncing around the fence. And I got up to second and a red flags came out. I was like, I could see the lad in first. I'd lined him up because at Rotorua, one end's a hairpin. And the other end's like 2 corners, essentially.
Yeah.
So
like a Sheffield.
A little bit, yeah. And so I'd lined him up, I was ready. I was like, right, I'm cutting straight across the corner. Bosh, straight into the side of him. Gone. There weren't long left. Red flag sat there and rain's coming down. I'm like, they're going to have to get going soon. I'm going to cancel it. Cancelled the race. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. So that was the end of that. And I came back into the pits and Ethan, the lad whose car it was, he hadn't watched it because his girlfriend Karina had rolled a car and wrecked it, so he was fixing that for the next day after. And came back and everybody was buzzing. Oh, that was awesome! That was mint. So you need to do it again. And but we never got another drive in the Superstock that time. And
that was your only Superstock race.
That was my only Superstock.
And then you're back in the stock car.
Back in the stock car. So we got to Dion's. We had nearly a full week just chilling at Dion's around the pool. I said to him, I said to the lads, I was like, do you want to do something or do you just want to chill out at Dion's? Dion was working nights, so obviously he was going to bed in the day. Ended up calling sick and spending a week with us. He was like, yeah, I'll just call in sick. So then he was making this like concoctions, like pouring him down the toilet. He's like, look, I've been sick. Boss was like, yeah, all right, mate, yeah, all right. And so we ended up doing a lot with him. And it was the Friday before the stock car meeting at Rotorua. So we did a Rotorua Kiki again.
Yeah. Are you working on the stock cars in between?
No. So we never touched stock car because we were waiting for an axle end. I was only racing if this axle end turned up. Went to the fab shop and took them down some beers and stuff. So I was like, hey, can you get on with it? And they hadn't done out. And Dion's dad was working at that machining shop that day, fixing a loader or something like that. And Rotorua had power cut. Bear in mind, this is the day of the meeting. The car doesn't have a front end in it, doesn't have a back axle in it. Ends up, Jimmy comes back with the axle end. Power turns on as he walks through the door. It's like Jesus had arrived. Literally, we were sat there, we're like, when it comes, we're not going to be able to do anything. So there's no power. All the lights, everything came on as he walked through the door. I was like, oh my gosh.
As if.
Perfect. So we got set on doing this car. Deck's there, welding an end on. Me and Dion are there putting the front end together. And we managed to get it together. Like, I might end up missing this here because you've got to be there and scrutineered and sorted before the first race. So I ended up going there.
They're quite strict on that then.
It's over there. Everything's like on phone. So if you want a day license, you go on the website. You say, I want a day license in this. That's my number, and it's all on their phones when they're at the track. It's quite real. It's
more advanced.
Very, very advanced.
Yeah.
And we got there. I quickly got in the car. Went over to the scrutineering booth. Scrutineered me. They were like, oh, next race is on now. Quick, get in. So we got in, set off. And Dion had paid the promoter to put me on pole for the first race. So I was on pole.
Is that something they do?
We knew the promoter, and it was only a club meeting, so it wasn't for points or anything. It was a bit of a fun meeting. So he set me off in pole.
I was going to say, you should be telling us this.
No, it's fine. Sammy knows.
Right.
And we set off, and it was like... It was a world of different to drive than the other thing. It was so
Other than the
loose.
Superstock.
The Superstock and the stock car.
Right, yeah.
And the stock car from
Because this is the fast one now.
Yeah. And it was so loose. I was like, it's all... You press the brakes, it's like trying to spin you out. I'm like, Dion, what is this? Oh, it's just a fast car. I was like, Dion, it just wants to spin out all the time. Yeah, you've got to drive it real nicely. On the bottom it says it's fighting against you. So we came back into the pit. I was like, right, because you're not allowed a brake winder or a valve.
Right. So
I said to him, I was like, well, we'll try and like wind the balance bar across and get summit. And he had some cut pads, so we put some cut pads in the back, and it was way better. So I went out for second race, and Todd Hemingway's 1NZ at the time in the Superstox was racing stock cars. So he was leading, and somebody had took him out. I was like, I think I'm on for this here.
Do they give you the first, second, third start marshal?
No. So you don't know where you are.
Oh, you got to work it out.
Yeah. So you've got to sort of count who comes past.
What does he do then?
Well,
green flag and red flag.
Yeah,
that's
literally.
it.
Green flag, red flag, checkered flag, white flag. That's it.
The old skeg man.
That's it. He's giving all this, and he's there like, there you go. And there's literally, the funny thing is, there's no enthusiasm. Checkered flag comes down. It's
oh no,
nice and gentle. But yeah, so he got took out, and I was like, I think I'm on for this here. And I got driving around, and I was like, I think I've just won that. And I came back, and bloke gives me the flag. So you do my lap with a flag.
Yeah, there's no pace car, is it? You go,
go around with the flag. And I come off, expecting a trophy. I get this little plastic flag. That's what you get for winning. You get like, you know what the kids have for like waving?
Yeah. You
get one of those for winning. So that was like the memento thing that's in my room at the minute, the time I won in New Zealand.
Showing people, and that's the time I won in New Zealand.
Yeah.
They look at it and go, what?
You bought that a skeg. What are we about? But yeah, so I won that.
So you actually won a racing?
Yeah, so that was
nice.
That was the highlight of that trip, definitely.
Yeah.
And it was, so the week after that, 2 weeks after that, was the stock car teams. And at Rotorua, they were defending champions, so they were trying to get a Rotorua car to win every race. So I went out for the next race. They did not want me winning that one. It was like I set off, and I was up to a good spot again. And Courtney Young, when they're good blockers, he was up there as well. I was like, I'll just stick. Dion told me just to watch out because he'll soon rattle me in. And I was like, I'll just keep going, nice and steady. And there was this spun car, so I went round. And I just got it wrong. It got a bit of a push. I was like, I'll just keep my foot in it, bounce off the fence. I was like, I hit the fence. I was like, Jesus. I ain't that harder than I thought. Somebody had picked me up
Oh,
as I hit the fence. So me keeping my foot flat out with another car behind me flat out as well. So I hit that, bounced off. Red flags came on. I was there trying to get my breath back. I was like, right, we'll get going again. And then, bearing in mind at this point, I'm in second and I'm on for the win again. Caught Courtney, past Courtney, and then going into the last corner, he just clips my back corner, but gets it wrong. I managed to back him up so he's stuck. And then my mate Harvey comes round, who was in third or something. I said to him, and Dion always said to him, he says, if Thomas is stuck, just hit his car to try and straighten it up. So I was there, ready for him to smash my front end round. He never did it. So I was like, I'm waiting for it. I was like, this is going to really hurt, this is going to really hurt. Oh, Harvey, what are we doing? So I had to set off again. I got fifth or something like that. But they were loving it. It was like, it was just the atmosphere as well. It's like, I was coming off track and like Marshall was shaking my head. Oh, that was brilliant, mate.
it was actually a bit of a show.
Yeah. And then we went to Kiki and Deck was racing the slow car that I raced the year before instead of Harvey this time. And I'd done all right. I won another race, but they disqualified me for going on the grass. I didn't go on the grass. I just got lent onto the grass. Didn't look like grass, not sand. So it don't count. So they disqualified me for like it was a
They hot on that then.
yeah
You can't touch the grass.
Well, yeah, you can't really go across two wheels on a pole line. That's you're docked. Well, down the straight if you don't have intention of coming back on track. I mean, I was full locked to try and get this bloke off, get back on the track, but I was having this good battle. He's one of the top, another Rotorua driver. He was one of the top lads of their team, and I was battling with him all race. Got to the last bend. I just pipped him across the line. So he'd sort of I was in the lead going to the last bend, and he sort of just tapped me. And I was like, I couldn't really do it. It was on shale, so he was obviously going to beat me. I just kept my foot in it. Apparently, I'd beat him. I didn't think I'd beat him across the line. Beat him across the line. No, oh, you've docked anyway, so go on, back to the
Didn't
pits.
get it, yeah.
So he went around in his lap. In the next race, I think I had 3 or 4 people come up to me. So this is funny, this. So Dion has a thing that when he wins a feature at Kiki, so Kiki runs differently. You have 2 heats and then you have a feature. You don't get anything different. That's just how they call it.
Yeah.
And if Dion wins a feature, he stands on his roof, and it's like, I don't even know what you'd represent it across here, but it's like everybody finds it funny. Everybody thinks it's funny when Dion gets on his roof. Oh, Dion's doing it again. And everyone's like, right, you've got to win the feature and get on your roof. So I was like, right, well, I'll try. First bend, climb over the top of somebody. I was like, mint, that's my race finished. Then I looked. My mate Deck was in third. I was like, I might do a bit of blocking here. So I slowed down. I was like, right. Hey, first car coming in. I was like, right, set off. It was one of the girls. This is so she'd had a terrible lady's crown. So her family they were already a bit down from that. And then
She's winning this feature.
She's winning this feature. I come steaming across the corner, straight through a back wheel, spin around. And on the video, her mum's there effing and blinding. That Palm, get him off. Why is he racing? I didn't hear this, but they were all laughing at it. And then this other lass comes past, but she was like 16, real frail blonde girl. I was like, can't take her around. So
6'4".
I know. I was like,
giant.
I'll let her go. The next one came past. I was like, right, I'll block this one. So I was on the brakes. I was like, where's Deck? He was pushing the car I was blocking. So I was there. I was like, bang, bang. Where is Deck gone? And he was pushing the lad. And Deck ended up like third or something. He was over the moon. He could have won it if he tried harder, but it was one of those. He was like, he'd been ill, and he was like, I didn't really want to be in it, to be honest. I just did it for the experience. So we had a fun time at.
So you got to do a bit of blocking as well.
Got to do a bit of blocking, which was funny after because the girl's mum who I took out came up to me after and apologised. They hadn't showed me the video, so I didn't know she'd been effing and blinded.
Oh, right. You're just like, yeah, all right,
I
yeah.
was like,
cool.
thanks, sorry. And but Mella, the girl who I took out, she was sound. She was like, yeah, Stoxkarts don't matter. And her mum came to apologise. And I was sort of like, I said to her, I was like, what? Why is she just apologised to me? She's like, oh, nah, I've got to show you the video.
You don't want to know.
But yeah, so that was our.
That was the last race of the New Zealand tour.
New Zealand tour race, yeah. And then obviously we had teams again, which that was really good fun. And
they didn't do too well though, did they?
No, so we got really
out on
lucky.
the first day.
Yeah, so it was. I think we were against Rotorua, and we got pulled off for something. I can't remember what it was, but it were a bit unfair what we'd been done for. We should have been, because the team was quite strong. Yet, well, saying that, Yelly once a keen after Neil had been and it was one of those. We'd sort of not gave up, but lost hope.
Yeah.
So But still, it was a good laugh.
In that sense, you need everyone to be
That's
there,
it.
and everyone
Everybody's
needs to keen and push together. Right, we're going to win this no matter what.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got a couple of them actually like,
Yeah,
I'm not really bothered now.
that's it.
And then that just drag everyone down, obviously. Yeah.
The format had changed slightly. As opposed to before, you only had 5 cars.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, even if you could wreck 2 cars, you still have 4 cars. Whereas with years sort of past, you only run on 4 cars.
Yeah.
You had to look at it.
If you wrecked one, then it's
Yeah.
like we need to get that back out.
It's sort of that's what helped the English as such, because we always used to fix our cars, where the others would sort of be like, oh, well, that car's knackered, that one's knackered, where we'd always try and make sure they were all right as such. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a bit of a poor team's endeavour that time, and that was last time I went to New Zealand.
So then that moves us on to now 2025 season. So that was January, February of 2025. So now you got back in the V8. What's the like difference going back in the V8? Is it? Are you obviously then going to New Zealand? Is it different? How different is it compared to them? And
Not particularly different, to be fair.
they got V6s, didn't they?
Yeah, they got V60s, but they're like fuel injectors and stuff. They're like proper bits of kit.
Right.
And it's sort of the speed, I would say, is they were a bit slower. They weren't really. It helped me in the fact of trackcraft, learning how to hit cars and bounce off things. And yeah, there wasn't that much of a gap between them. I wouldn't think it was.
So it's not a massive thing going from the V8 to the Superstock, New Zealand Superstock.
Drive the same sort of. Once you get to sort of these cars, they're all not miles apart from it. Obviously, it's like the difference between the fast stock car and the slow stock car was miles. So there wasn't that much of a difference to
Right.
it.
So it's quite at home still.
Yeah. It was quite sort of just jumping back into it, really.
Nice. So then start of your 2025 season.
The start of 2025 season we had a good start, actually. Yeah. Well, no, we actually had a terrible start, funny enough. First meeting of the year.
Glad Norman's here anyway.
Yeah, I know. He's keeping jogging me. First meeting of the year.
He's forgotten about that. That's why.
I completely forgot. Went Kingsland, first start meeting at year, and it was like, Kingsland, sound, we'll do quite well. Going around for the first race, with all back suspension, trying to get it to like pick itself up a bit. And we were, I think I was in third or something, and all of a sudden it just goes pop, 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 pop. And I was like, that's a bit bizarre. I was like, I'll keep going. And it was like slowing down a bit, but it would clear every now and again. So it's like, might clear eventually. And all of a sudden it like starts getting quite hot and then stopped. I was like, right, well, I'll switch that off. This was like 2 laps ago. I was in third, so it was going well. Came back to the pits, and the trumpet on the front of the Dizzy had come off, so it was advancing and retarding the timing. So we were like, we'll just load it up.
All over the place.
We're like, it'll melt the piston or something will be dead.
Yeah.
So we left that. So that was the end of the shale engine. So the season that we were ready for, all ready to go, was already in pieces.
2 cars, 2 engines.
2 cars, 2 engines, ready to go.
First meeting.
Yep.
Oh.
We're down to 1 engine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we ended up having to put the 3.5 tarmac engine in the shale car.
Is it easy change? Are they the same mounts? Or
Near enough. It was just like throttle linkages and stuff. That was the main thing. Yeah.
trying to work it all out first time?
Things were just slightly different, like oil pipes were different.
Yeah.
And stuff, so
Yeah.
It
But
was just getting it so you could swap it.
Yeah, but now once you've done it once or twice, you're
That's
like, right,
it.
them pipes go on there
Yeah.
for the engine. Right, yeah, got you.
Until you put them in the workshop somewhere, you're like, where have them pipes gone? It's where they're somewhere.
It's when you have a tidy up, that's the worst.
That's it. And we had, it was British, was at, where was the British? It was at Buxton. And first meeting at Buxton that year, won the final. We sort of struggled with it a bit. And the 3.5 hadn't been rebuilt. So it would still run over from that. So it was getting a bit tired. And it was struggling a bit down the straights and stuff. We got into the British and got like 7th or something like that. Well, so it started to rain. So we're like, you know what, we'll go full wets. Everybody else is still on dry. So like, right, we'll just go for it. Put everything wet on. It lashed it down after the race had finished. Torrential rain. So if it had done that when the race had started, probably would have won the British, but no. So terrible British. European weekend was at Ipswich, which was first time at Ipswich. and we'd been struggling with brakes on the tarmac. I couldn't get it to stop because my car was always really fast on the brake. It stopped so quickly. I just couldn't figure out what was up with it.
And it's changed, now all of a sudden it's not.
So we found out that it was just a rubbish batch of pads. So we put an old set of pads in, and it was going all right. I think we had somewhere in the European, but I sort of got messed about at the start and couldn't really get going, and got knocked back to the back, and then sort of worked my way back up. But it was too late; everybody had already gone. So I think must have been 6th or something in that again. And then World Final came around. I sort of said to Dad, it's like before the meeting in the workshop, we were like, there's not really to lose, really. Sort of just, we'll go, and we're not really expecting out. Qualified pole again, but...
So you've done the rounds throughout the year,
yeah,
and you've got on pole.
I seem to do it quite well at qualifying. Not winning a lot, just like
consistency.
3rd, 4th, 5th, up there, and never really got... Well, never... I think I finished nearly every single race. Never had... quite a few final. Yeah.
Just to give you a boost up there.
That's it. And we went to Bradford, and it was wet. I was like, mint. This is going our way here. Been doing a rain dance all week, but then the rain didn't stop.
No.
And I remember we went on track, and I was like, I don't know where the line is. It was like I was out wide. I was like, nothing here. I went tight. I was like, this is wet. So I was like, right.
Things before the race, you look at it, the track looks obliterated, and then all the cars are all nice and shiny.
I know.
For one lap.
Yep, that was it. And I remember we got going. I was like, I'll just see how we go. I'll just take my time, because when it's that wet, whoever's winning, if you don't make a mistake, you'll more than likely win it. So I got going. I was obviously leading, and then somebody came past and we had a full restart. So I got going again, and John Brown passed me and got into the lead. Next corner, went flying in, put himself in backwards because he couldn't see. But obviously at that time...
He's thinking you're coming in and...
I know. And at that time, my goggles had already gone. So goggles were off, so I was sort of blinking a bit.
Oh.
But the spray from the track as well was getting me, so it wasn't just from cars, it was from the track. So I was having to count going down the straight for when to turn. So right, if I count, I can turn, then I can wipe my eyes, and then I can sort of see for a bit. And I remember we were going, it must have been halfway through. I was like...
So you couldn't see the inside either?
Oh, no. I couldn't see out.
Wow.
Literally everything was just a blur. I was just sort of counting.
Yeah.
It was like, right, turn. Right, we're here. Wipe. Now go. And it started to bog down, did the car. So it was like, boo. I think the breather pipes had clogged up. So it was like, oh, right, okay. But it was clearing and stuff. So it was manageable, especially when it's that wet. You're not that much on the throttle. So obviously I was like flat out. I was like, boo, wow. And then setting off. Then the throttle started to stick, so I had to wedge I had to put my right foot underneath the throttle pedal and using my left foot for throttle and brake, and it was like right, blah, blah, blah. All right, it's starting to rev up here, right, we'll back off again. So I was doing that while trying to wipe my eyes,
doing a dance in the car,
literally, and I didn't know where. I was just picking off cars one after one. I was like, I've got to be near the end somewhere. And then checkered flag came down. Didn't realise I'd lapped second place twice. Which I didn't know I'd done that until after. And we sort of got out, and everybody was trying to talk. I said, I just need to wipe my eyes. Everybody just leave me alone for a minute. I need to wipe my eyes. And so, yeah. And luckily, I didn't have to race the rest of that meeting. That was the benefit of that World Final.
Just being checked.
Yeah, because I got checked. So I was like, yeah, I'll take the 75 points and I'll go to the bar.
Yeah, I don't think you want to race the rest of that.
No, it was... I mean, I would have had a hell of a lot of points because there was only 4 cars going around. Everybody else had just decided to go home. They were like, I just can't race in that.
But there's a picture of more than half the grid all parked on the corners you got to park.
Yeah.
They're all there with steam coming up.
I know. It was just that wet. You just couldn't... It was grippy. The track was grippy. You just couldn't see anything. You couldn't actually see anything. It was like there's a picture, and my car's nice and shiny, and front outside is nice and shiny. And then there's just a cloud of wet shale. It's I'm glad I wasn't back there.
Oh, mate. Yeah, imagine starting further back on that grid.
I know, I mean...
With you got God knows how many 20 rear tyres all spraying in your face.
Somebody said to me, they were like, you were lucky you started on pole. I was like, I had to qualify there. I did earn it.
Yeah. I did race all season.
I know, But, yeah, so that was a good world final. One definitely to remember. Which was nice because... So,
But you didn't see it. You got to watch it on camera.
Well, that's it. Yeah,
You can watch it from the outside camera
Yeah.
now and actually relive it.
yeah. It was a bit of a boring world final in the sense that not a lot happened, but it was one of them that I'll always remember because it was just that cold and horrible. I think Ian was actually that much of a wuss. He decided to go home because he thought, I'm not getting my car dirty.
The classic F1.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
Not me. They cancelled. But when they came round, I went, look lads, you know, the V8s, the world finals all got on. Somebody had an accident.
Yeah.
Not an accident, they passed away. They had
Yeah.
Oh, right.
one of the Stoxkarts drivers, ex-Stoxkarts drivers down. But so the meeting was running late and everything. So the Heritage decided, the committee of the Heritage people said, look, just cancel us. We're all old boys. We don't want to do all this.
We don't want to look like him.
So the guy who's running goes, oh yeah, I'm ever so sorry. I'm like, why? What's up? He goes, we're not racing. I was like, yes. Because I found I'd never race again anyway.
Yeah.
It was only a friend just said, look.
Just helping out sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I was so relieved.
The ambulance ran out of bloody eye wash that day. They it was like second race, something like that.
Yeah.
Ran out of eye wash because everybody was going down.
Oh, mate.
Went to A&E, Lee Ferris went
Yeah.
to A&E.
Well, just because stuff in their eyes.
Yeah.
It's not.
Danny, yeah.
It's not ideal, is it?
No.
Wet shell is just not. It's not a bit of me either.
I mean, like, obviously 45 years I've been racing, that is the worst.
Really.
Yeah.
It was.
It was bad.
And you went and won the world final.
It was just a standing water. That was the worst bit. It was just the track. Like they couldn't do anything with it. You couldn't.
Brown water,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
that's all it was. But obviously, and they
Which-
put a lot of stone in. It's a bit like Sheffield again, real stony. So it's like you're just getting pebble dashed all the time. It's horrendous. It's just
stinging my eyes.
I
just
know
thinking
it
about
hurts.
So that's the end of that world final.
Yeah,
Got your gold roof back or your green roof back.
green roof back on. I
Yeah.
thought, well, actually, we had a brown roof up for grabs.
Eh?
So for that world final, Andy Ford had sponsored this wing. He says, when I was spraying it on, it did look a real nice gold, but it's gone a bit brown, and it was quite a brown wing. But I always said if I was to win another world final, I was going to run as 329. I didn't want to be number one again, purely just for the fact that I can't win with number one.
Yeah.
So my auntie did some stickers for me and stuff. So I ended up running with the brown wing for a bit, and then I had to put the green wing on for some of the tarmac meetings because there was no point in us doing a new wing if we're going to have the car re-signed next year.
Right. So you have put that wing back on.
Yeah, so we put that one back on for tarmac. Did quite well after winning that world final. Won a few finals and stuff. Not really stood out as such. Managed to win the points that year as well.
So you got the silver roof.
Yeah, so I got the silver roof, and that was I had a bit of a. Not
Is that
slow
throughout
start.
the whole year?
Yeah.
The silver. It's not
Full
like
year.
it's not like shootout. Nothing.
No.
It is throughout the whole year.
Yeah, so it's how the silver roof should be really run,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And we were quite quick, but it was just finishing. It was like thirds, fourths, fifths, constantly finishing that got us to the point, and we were well clear. We were like nearly more than second and third combined. It was like a really good year.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, that was that one, which was it. It definitely, I would say, was probably one of our better years in the fact of just constant speed, if you know what I mean. We were
consistently
on top.
at the front.
Yeah, that's it.
Consistent. Is that a change in the workshop? Is that a change in your driving?
Not probably a bit of driving. It's just a bit of it's like luck as well. I want to have
It's
like
all-
silly
it's all-
things going
it's all
on.
luck.
Exactly. That's what people don't.
But you've got to try
realise.
and make as much luck as you can.
I know. You've got to just try and eliminate all the other
Exactly.
factors. So yeah, well, we altered the shell car, and it seems to be going quite well at the minute. So yeah, we were happy with that. Yeah.
How many top boys is there at the minute then?
That I'd say like our top lads. There's probably maybe 5 or 6 that you'd say are the top.
They can go there and win
Yeah.
a race.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
there's about 5 or 6 here.
Yeah, that it's like, yeah, you're racing against it. Sort of the same people every weekend, but they're a good same people every
Yeah.
weekend, if you know what I mean.
As you say, you got some of the other ones that have moved on now, and you lot have now taken over the top spot.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I looked at, funny enough, I looked at lap times from, I think it was Skegness halfway through the year, because somebody had said that one of the old lads had been going around saying, "Oh, all these young stock," because obviously at the minute it's like Gracie's she's the same age as me, so she's young.
Yeah.
She won the European. Then I've got gold and silver. So these young lads, they're only coming through because
We've
all the
all
good
given
ones
up.
have. Yeah, exactly. And we looked at lap times. We're actually nearly 2/10 quicker. And that was the last dry meeting with the same tyres that we're on. Then the quickest lad
Back then.
back then. So
you're not only are you coming up, you're actually improving
quicker.
still.
Yeah.
You're quicker.
So yeah, that was a good.
Well,
good year.
we speak about people that have moved on. Have you got any future plans? Is it still V8s? Have we got the budget for an F1 yet, Norm? No.
He's got one sat in the
Yeah, we've got one sat in the garage. We've got
From when?
got that one there. See it on the back of the bus.
From
That
when
one.
you raced.
Yeah, from what, 1990?
Right, so you got a 2002 one.
The
Yeah.
last time his car went out, Norm's, was at the Kings Lynn World
Yeah.
Final when they did a reverse steering box race.
Yeah. So it left to go right.
So they put the steering box on, so when you turned right, the car went left.
No.
Well, they did pedals. Apparently, they did the pedals as well.
Yeah.
So the brake was the accelerator.
Yeah. So Danny went to go and set off out the workshop. Obviously, went to set off, put his foot on the throttle, so it set off, and then went to turn away from the car, or turned into it. So yeah. So
No.
old man Frank was like, "You're taking the pedals off." But it
How many done this race?
was quite a few. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just
They didn't let them race with the pedals though, did they? They
No.
only did the steering. because it-
it's too much.
Yeah.
The thing is, you got Marshall in front of you.
Yeah. Well, it's Gears and Tears year.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So yeah, some good fun.
Yeah. So you got what's your future plans? Obviously, we've got the gold and the silver ready for 2026 now.
Yeah.
Are you going New Zealand this year?
Not this year. Planning on going in
2027.
27. Yeah, and we'll see how that goes. But I think it's going to be more of a holiday. We'll go for team. No, it's actually a holiday this time. Girlfriend's coming, so foot's
right.
been put down. So
You still get racing. I
Yeah.
don't care what anyone says.
we're doing teams. Going to go to that, and then we're going
What,
to
help him?
for after teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. Tom Bennett hopefully will still be on the team. And good mates of him from Formula 2s. It's his first season doing teams this year.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Hopefully it survives. Hopefully the rest of them
Sure,
do
he'll
as
be
well.
alright.
He'll be fine. And yeah, we're having a holiday, but plans probably just stick with V8s. I'd keep doing a bit of Stoxkarts every now and again.
Have you got one, or is it just?
Yeah,
hire?
still got my own.
Oh, you still
my
got
own
yours?
one. Well, I mean, we did World Final last year, and I ended up upsetting everybody. Somebody was trying to follow me in for 5 laps. I was like, oh, what are we doing here? Well, it was World Final. I started, bloody hell, I must have been on like 19th row or something like that. I got up to like 5th on the yellow file.
Where's this?
At Buxton. I was like, I could be.
Have you done Scotland? Is that
Oh,
where you got the
no.
qualifiers? Was that the year before?
No, it was year
That
before.
was brilliant.
Yeah.
When-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did the British.
We did,
the Joe one at Bradford, yeah.
So we went to that's a funny story to tell you. So we went up and I was off blue, and Charlie Portman, one of my mates, was chasing the points, and his mum and dad couldn't go up to Scotland. They had something on. It's like, right, we'll go, we'll take you. Went up to Scotland, we raced Crimond. Terrible track for the Stoxkarts. My teeth, I don't know how they were still in. It was ridiculous. And then we had Cowden Beef, and I never raced Cowdy in the wet. And everybody had always said, just drive around the fence. So we're literally driving like on the fence. And I won one of the heats, so I'd qualified quite well. I was off blue, so I was a bit of a blue top bandit. And my pal Charlie had caught up to me, and he passed me. As soon as he went past, I'm like, you're having it here. So obviously he's trying to drive around the fence. I just went straight across the corner, never turned, just straight through the side of him. He's there rattling up the fence. And it was one of them races that it was just like a proper stock car race. Do you know what I mean? And the Scottish crowd love the Stoxkarts when they come up. Absolutely love it. Because you don't notice it. They get very overshadowed as such. You look at Stoxkarts, oh, they're a bit naff, they're quite slow. But if you actually watch the racing that goes on,
It's close, isn't it?
yeah,
it's good racing.
really, really good racing. But people just don't give them. Yeah.
51
Yeah.
mile an hour.
That's all the way round as well, because obviously they don't,
Yeah, you don't let
speed
off.
up down the straight.
45 mile an hour, it was a car there.
Yeah. So no.
That's cool.
Just-
That I said to you afterwards, didn't I? You and Charlie. Well, there was a
Yeah.
few of you.
Yeah.
It was just all, every bend they were just nailing each other because there was only one fast line because
Yeah.
it was wet, which was right up against the fence. So he's aiming for the fence anyway, you're left and then you two are sort of out there, and somebody just manages to
Got
get
the
through.
inside.
I'm stood in the box going, just
On edge.
trying to do the race scene, I'm going, this is me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Brilliant race was that.
So, yeah,
Nice.
Just V8s, really. Just
That's it. We'll just carry on with V8s.
Yeah.
Try and get a few more titles. Have another consistent year.
That's it. I want to dabble. Everybody keeps pestering me to go in a Formula One, but it's like I'd rather be a little fish in a big pond than a big fish in a little pond. But Dad's the other way around. So, and until I can pay for it, I think I'll have to stay with V8.
That's fair enough.
But yeah,
That's fair enough. Hopefully, we win a few more titles and you might get a sponsor come on board.
that's it.
And get you an F1 car. You never know.
That's it. Ian might retire and think, what, I'll sponsor Thomas. He always does. He always mentions Stoxkarts.
To be fair, I sponsor quite a few drivers.
Yeah.
Just little bits here and there that have been next Stoxkarts races. And all I get off him is, never given me out.
That's it. I'm probably the only one that always mentions Stoxkarts in a good way, and I've still to this day yet to have anything off him. So
Maybe 2027 we'll have a...
that's it.
It might
Well,
happen.
Formula One, thanks, Ian.
Yeah.
You've heard it first.
Wicked. Well, nice chatting to you. Thank you very much. Nice for you to tell us a bit about the V8s and your time in the Superstox as well. Thank you for coming to see us. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.